good health and prosperity to you, Mr. President, and to the people of Estonia. Cheers.
A trip of many firsts for President Advocate Duma Boko, marking his first state visit since taking office in November 2024. The president becomes the first African sitting president to pay a state visit to Estonia, a Baltic state of less than 1.5 million people. But this is no ordinary diplomatic gesture. Estonia, widely regarded as the most digitally advanced society on the planet, has pioneered e-governance, paperless administration, and artificial intelligence-driven public services, innovations that have captured global attention. And now, Botswana is listening. Botswana and Estonia established diplomatic relations in 2003, but the momentum of cooperation only began to kick off 6 years later with the official visit of the former Minister of International Relations, Pandu Skelemane, to Estonia in 2009. That visit would become the basis of what is now a thriving diplomatic relationship. In 2024, Estonian President Ala Akaris traveled to Botswana on a state visit, where a memorandum of understanding establishing political consultations, collaboration on digitization, and the double taxation avoidance agreement were sealed. Digital transformation, e-taxation, education and training are now the key foundational areas of cooperation for the two countries. But why is Estonia a go-to country for Botswana for inspiration to transition into a digital economy? In 1991, Estonia regained its independence from Russia with very little resources to build their economy. A foresighted leadership apparently recognized the slack as a great opportunity to start afresh and build a nation state that they imagined of. The Estonian Information Technology Policy of 1994 was the starting point of the transformation of Estonia into what is now the world's digitalized country, where now all state services are automated. The Estonians have now turned this digital knowledge into their most valuable export, a smart, homegrown asset now shared with the world. President Boko envisions a spectacularly transformed Botswana within 3 years, a vision inspired by the digital prowess of Estonia's economy.
Beautiful country, very small population, you can tell. The streets are not overcrowded, people are warm, they're happy, they're friendly. It basically just feels like home. So it's a beautiful place to be in.
In just 34 years, the Estonian economy has reached high income status, largely catapulted to this level of success due to digitization. The Minister of Communications and Innovation reckons Botswana can also move swiftly to achieve this because a lot of groundwork towards digitization has been done. President Boko's reciprocal state visit to Estonia underscores the new administration's determination to build on the foundations laid in 2024, deepening cooperation in digitization and reaffirming a shared commitment to innovation-led development.
This friendship is built on a shared vision that is clear, that is precise, a vision by which Botswana seeks to leapfrog many stages and stay on quest to emulate Estonia as the most digitalized society in the world. We trust that with your guidance, with your collaboration, we will get there. You've already deployed some of your people who've worked with us and our institutions to script a completely different narrative for Botswana, chart a totally different course for the continent of Africa. We thank you most profusely, because the ties that bind us are strong. Our friendship is deep. It is enduring. It will carry us into the future. A future that is spectacularly different for both our nations. I trust that this friendship will enable the people of Botswana to also enjoy direct contact and communication with their leadership, with their government, that they will, as a result of this connection, develop an abiding faith and confidence in their country, their democracy, and the structures that must hold them together.
Your vision for Botswana's digital future resonates deeply with us. We are honored to support Botswana's ambition to build a smarter, more connected future and I believe we can achieve great things together. Remarkable progress is possible when technology is placed in the service of people. One inspiring example of this cooperation is the development of a Leketo live tax management system, where Estonian know-how is helping Botswana develop faster, more transparent services to its people. This is a model of practical, forward-looking cooperation.
Botswana's democratic consolidation following the October general election that ushered in President Boko's UDC into power has apparently increased the country's democratic value in Europe.
That peaceful transition between the former political party that was in power and the current one, everybody touts Botswana and hails us as a beacon of peace, as a beacon of good governance. One picture that was trending all over Europe was the one where the two presidents were actually hugging. So it's an opportunity, and we must ride the wave of that goodwill that has come about as a result of those peaceful elections, because people now want to know more about that peaceful country in Botswana. They want to know more about what we have to offer. And we are blessed to have a series of presidents, including the current president, who are very vocal about their wishes for Botswana, their wishes for peace and good governance.
During the Estonia Botswana Business Forum, there was excitement from the business community about investing in Botswana. Typically, Estonian companies are selling their digital expertise.
What makes Estonia unique, of course, is our digital-first society and agile regulatory environment. We're fast adopters of new technologies and offer an ideal testbed for scalable, clean solutions. To put it also in perspective, Estonia now leads the world in clean tech venture and growth equity investments per capita. At 143 euros per person, we're ahead of much larger economies such across Europe, also even the United States. At the Cleantech Estonia Association, we support the growth of sustainable, secure and competitive economy. We work very closely together with early-stage startups and traditional industries navigating the green transition, with global investors and strategic collaborators, and policymakers to align frameworks with the needs of the clean economy.
Nortel is a global digital transformation company. We are headquartered here in Estonia, and we are proud to call ourselves as the main architects of, one of the main architects of e-Estonia. We have delivered more than 40% of the Estonian e-transformation. But what I would like to emphasize here is that we don't just build technology. We help governments and societies become more transparent, efficient, more citizen-focused through digital solutions. Botswana is a very important partner to us, and actually our collaboration has lasted for more than a decade. Our first project started in 2013 when we delivered the first electronic tax filing system for VAT. Then the project was expanded in 2016 when we included other tax types there as well. Then in 2017 we started building the full comprehensive tax management system, and that was the project that I was also personally involved in. And maybe what is interesting to mention here is that the rollout of the system was challenging because it took place during the global COVID lockdown, which meant that both of our teams had to adapt quickly and work remotely in these unprecedented conditions.
If you scroll back time to 30 years, 40 years ago, when the transmission lines were built, they were dimensioned in their capacity to be able to carry the electricity from the power plant to the city under the worst possible conditions. So that even if it's a very hot day with no wind, the transmission line will not overheat. Now, however, since we are growing electrical consumption, we want to connect solar and wind and more power plants. There is additional capacity in those lines that has not been used until now. A light wind of 2 meters per second that you would barely feel when you're walking outside cools down the wires and adds 1/3 of more capacity so that you can push more electricity through it before it overheats. It has not been important up until today to make use of that additional headroom, but now it is important because we want to grow and lift people into modern electrical consumption. The problem is, though, that you cannot simply take the weather forecast and use it directly. If you have a transmission line that goes through a built area or forested area, there will be no wind in that part. Just like when you walk outside of this building, there might not be any wind, even though the wind is blowing over the house. What we contribute is an extremely precise wind and weather forecast with machine learning.
We have been supported by the Estonian government through the Think Like an Investor initiative, an EU Data for Africa governance initiative. At Hitachi Capital, our mission is quite simple. That is to work with small businesses in the informal sector and empower them with digital tools so that they can thrive. What we did at Hitachi Capital, we designed an artificial intelligence-powered mobile application called Hitachi. With this application, we give it to small businesses that are mostly underserved, or what we call informal. And they transact on the platform, and they keep financial records of their businesses. As they do that, our AI algorithms will then understand the patterns and the behavior of small businesses, and then use this data to prove the creditworthiness of these businesses, and therefore underwrite microloans to these businesses. Everything from the process of account creation, KYC, anti-money laundering, happens in an instant through Hitachi mobile application.
President Boko and Karis also share the same ideals of global peace and security. Closer to President Boko, the SADC region is dealing with the DRC conflict, while in Europe, President Karis and the Eurozone are grappling with the Ukraine-Russia war. But globally, silencing the guns and dealing with the consequences of war such as death, poverty, disease and displacement continue to challenge even the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals.
I thank the people of this country and commit Botswana to upholding our shared values, respect for the rule of law, upholding human rights, and appreciating that the opposite of life is not death, but apathy and affable indifference, a failure to offer hope and encouragement and support to those who need your hope, your encouragement, and your support. Every place on earth that is embroiled in turmoil must prick our collective consciences. It must awaken our collective consciousness. Any cry of distress must be a call to the front lines of offering assistance to those in distress. I am grateful for this friendship between Botswana and Estonia. The humanity, the compassion, the understanding between the two nations must be the lodestar, emblematic of an unfolding, humane, caring, compassionate world.
Estonia and Botswana are part of a democracy-loving nation which expect the UN Charter and the rules-based international order. This common alliance is our strength in a world increasingly marked by division, armed conflict, displacement, and suffering. Brutal and unjustified aggression in Ukraine challenges the very foundation of a global multilateral system. There is still no peace prospect in the Middle East. Armed conflicts, some parts of the African continent. There is still a lot of work to be done around the world to overcome poverty and hunger, violence and injustice. Each crisis, each lost life, each broken community reminds us of a profound truth. We do not exist in isolation. As the Botswana saying goes, moto ke moto ka pato. A person is a person because of other people. Our dignity, our peace, and our future are bound together. When one community is in pain, the ripple reaches us all. Let us not retreat into silence or indifference. Instead, let us recommit to the principles of empathy, solidarity, and shared humanity, and raise our voices for peace, justice, dignity, and protection of all people.
Good health and prosperity to you, Mr. President, and to the people of Estonia. Cheers.